This is 5 on your side at noon. Focused on you.
Right now at noon, Missouri lawmakers are getting back to work. Here's a live look at the state capitol. At any moment now, the sound of the gavel will open the new session of the legislature. Thanks so much for being here at noon. I'm Kay Quinn. Lawmakers will debate hundreds of new bills. We begin with 5 on your side, Sydney Stallworth. She has details of two of the biggest issues.
Lawmakers plan to debate more than 1,300 bills. Some of them concern the LGBTQ+ community and could impact students inside the classroom. We brought you coverage on a Missouri law prohibiting students from participating on an athletic team that's designed for the opposite biological sex. Now, Senate Bill 1246 seeks to get rid of that expiration date. Another measure, House Bill 1405, says school employees cannot use a preferred pronoun for a student if it doesn't align with that student's biological sex or that student doesn't have a written letter of consent from their parent. Schools also would not be able to require employees to use those pronouns if it's contrary to the employee's religious or moral convictions. Lawmakers will also debate gun ownership bills. One measure being introduced this year is House Bill 208. Under this measure, if anyone under the age of 20 years old buys or leases a semi-automatic or an automatic firearm, they could face a Class A misdemeanor charge. Anyone who sells the guns to a person under 20 would face a Class A misdemeanor charge too. A similar bill, House Bill 1701, says someone could face the same charge if they transfer any of these types of weapons to anyone younger than the age of 20. Lawmakers will also discuss bills on education, energy, unlawful discrimination, and voting rights. This session ends May 17th. In downtown West, I'm Sydney Stallworth, 5 on your side.
Make sure you have the 5 on your side app downloaded to your smartphone for the latest legislature news. And our Mark Maxwell is in Jefferson City. Look for his report coming up on 5 on your side at 4. Developing at noon, Illinois State Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting in eastern Illinois. Police say officers responded to a burglary call Saturday night in Brownstown. They say Tyler Rowe stole a car from a home there and drove off. Police later stopped him in St. Elmo, that's about an hour east of St. Louis. That's when an officer with the Farina Police Department opened fire on Rowe. Investigators haven't yet said whether Rowe had a weapon at the time. Rowe was sent to a hospital and later released. He is now in police custody. No officers were injured in that incident. Metrolink trains are running once again in East St. Louis after a car collided with one. This was the scene about 2 hours ago between the 5th and Missouri and Emerson Park stations. A Metro spokesperson says the car ran into the side of the train. Metro stopped service for about an hour. We caught up with the driver of the car. He says he's happy to have survived.
The angels protected me. My brakes went out in my car. I couldn't stop. And all I could do was put my hand on the wheel and close my eyes and end up hitting the train. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but God's hands was on me. And I give God the glory.
10 people were on the train. None of them were hurt. New at noon, the St. Louis County Health Department is offering lead testing to anyone who may have eaten recalled applesauce. At least 5 cases of lead poisoning have been reported in Missouri since the Food and Drug Administration issued a recall in November. The applesauce pouches were sold at Schnucks and Sam's Club. Walk-in lead screenings are now available at all 3 DPH health centers. The test does involve a blood draw. Screenings will be billed to insurance or otherwise cost $30. Exposure to high levels of lead can result in vomiting, headache, abdominal pain, and anemia.
Okay, everyone, meteorologist Tracy Hinson here. I'm in for Jim and Gary and Scott today. As you can see outside, we do have slightly overcast conditions in a few areas. We have a lot of filtered in sunshine. We are going to see some sun this afternoon. It's going to be pretty nice. It is 39 degrees. It does feel like 35 outside with a very minimal wind chill. Winds are out of the north, so that's that cooler polar air that's cooling us off here. It's out of the north at a little over 5 miles per hour. Through the rest of our day today, I expect a bit more sunshine as we head into the afternoon hours here. 43 degrees by 2 o'clock, 41 by 4, and then we're dropping down again. Some very frosty conditions. That is pretty typical, though, for this time of year. So after midnight, as we make our way to the very early morning hours, our overnight low temperature will drop down to 27 degrees. Our sunset is inching closer to 5 o'clock, and isn't that good to see? Just about 4:52 tonight. Our winds are out of the north at about 5 to 10 miles per hour.
All right, thank you, Tracy. It's been almost 8 months since a major water main broke near Dogtown. It quickly flooded part of Interstate 64. As 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski reports, residents in the neighborhood are still having problems with water pressure.
Isabel Mickish says this is what comes out of her kitchen sink when she turns on the water full blast.
And that's what we'll get pretty much every day. So of course it makes it very difficult to wash dishes, get water, do your daily necessities.
Mickish says she's lived in Dogtown for 4 years and loves it, but as soon as the water main broke near Tam Avenue, it's been hard to do anything at her home involving water.
I mean, all of this happened about 8 months ago. And I mean, the first week of it, we had absolutely no water at all. So that of course made things very difficult for us. As the 8 months went through, I mean, still continuously have had issues and still dealing with it even today.
She says when it gets even colder, it gets worse, and she's reported the issue multiple times with no response back.
I feel like for the first few weeks, they were very attentive to what was going on. And then as the months went on, they really haven't paid too much attention to it. They've kind of swiped it right under the rug.
A St. Louis City spokesperson tells me work on the water main break is very close to completion and shouldn't be affecting pressure at this point.
This isn't a great flow at all.
Just under a mile away, Jeremy Rabus is dealing with the same issue.
But the sink in the bathroom is sort of the biggest issue. I had to take the aerator off the faucet in order to get a decent amount of water, and it appears to be pretty pressurized, but when you put that aerator back on, it's like a tiny little trickle.
Both residents want to see change or at least get more information about when things might go back to normal, as the second round of water rate increases are scheduled to take effect this month.
But this was like the big tuna, I guess, and we're still feeling the effects.
That was Laura Barczewski reporting. A spokesperson for the city says the Water Division will look into the problem, but anyone with poor water pressure can report it to the Citizens Service Bureau. The Clayton School District has found a new headquarters. According to the St. Louis Business Journal, it reached an agreement to buy the headquarters of Caleres Inc., formerly known as Brown Shoe Company. The 9-acre campus sits on Maryland Avenue near Clayton High School. The purchase price has not been released. It's the list many people are waiting for, what we could expect from documents related to Jeffrey Epstein's sex case. Plus, a letter sent in the mail 80 years ago is finally arriving at its destination. The story behind the social media effort.